Last notes I can't read it out. Well, thanks for listening, watching, as always. We do appreciate your feedback, by the way. Thank you very much. This week, myself and Joel are joined by, well, as you can see, nobody. We haven't got any friends whatsoever. Nobody likes us. We smell, and we're horrible. No, the players actually had today, Thursday, when we record off, because obviously we're playing Shalford on Sunday. So you're left with just us two, as our term board members were all busy. So we'll make it probably, shall we say, an abbreviated version of the podcast, but some would say that's probably a good thing. So
Yeah, I think there's only so long people can probably stand the both of us, isn't there?
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. They need somebody else's voice. So anyway, I'll start off with the positives. The march. The police said between 300 and 400. That's a good turnout, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. I think they were hoping for I think the hope was for 100 plus, but then to kind of hit that and go a bit beyond that total as well is really positive. I think first off, it's worth thanking very obviously for turning up, but not only turning up but being incredibly well behaved on the march, which sorry makes me sound a bit like a school teacher there, but at the end of the day, it's an emotive topic, football and your football club, and I guess there is the possibility for people to get a bit carried away and wanting to make their feelings known, but everybody was, there was absolutely no trouble with the police. The police, themselves, they've been very cooperative with it, and it's nice to see that in return that it went well. And obviously, we had BBC Northwest there. They did a bit of a report on it. So yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to know how much kind of tangible effect it will have necessarily in pushing the sale of the club, but sometimes it's not always necessarily about having a direct tangible effect that you can kind of draw a straight line between. It's about just raising the awareness, and if it gets the message out there, if it gives a chance for people to say what they want to say, if it makes 1% of difference to a prospective owner looking thinking,
Exactly.
well, this is a club who's got fans that care, which have got fans that care about the club and want to stand up
Well,
right for
and the
them.
other thing is, it's not done any harm, has it?
No,
So
exactly, and I think it's been managed. I've personally not had a great deal to do with organising it, but it's been done in a really good way. That is
that why it was a success?
Yeah, that probably is why. Because if me trying to organise a march or something like that, it'd be a shambles, to be honest. But but
Yeah, you just end up pub to pub, wouldn't you?
yeah, probably. But that's why I stick to the podcast and let people who are better at organising these things than me stay on them. But yeah, no, really well organised. So big thanks to everybody in the trust who organised it, and to everybody for turning up and behaving responsibly and helping get the message out there.
And then obviously people enjoyed the happy hours in the JB's bar beforehand, because they all got there in plenty of time, thanks to the march, which was good. A couple of things, obviously the Wrexham game. Wrexham, I'll discuss that game in a minute. I was a little bit disappointed with the official attendance of 5,100, given the fact that Wrexham sold out 1,650. And sometimes I think we sometimes, and I'm just being critical because there's nobody to answer, but I think we shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes, because is my memory playing tricks on me, or did we sell out against Bradford but we didn't close that bit of the Berlin Wall?
I couldn't tell you.
We didn't.
It's a bit
I'm
of a
pretty
long
sure we
time. I
didn't,
mean,
and I don't get why Wrexham. I mean, Bradford have got a worse reputation than Wrexham. Why would you leave that part of the Berlin Wall open, reduce the capacity of the Berlin Wall to 250 instead of 500, and then close it against Wrexham? I just don't get it. It just didn't make sense. But anyway, but 5,100. But that's probably, you look at how many they brought. It's not a bad home crowd, I have to say. But I was expecting. I thought we might be somewhere up to the last game of League One in the first season, Sunderland levels, 5,009 or something like that, 5,8, whatever it was. But there you go. But I mean, the game itself, we scored too soon, didn't we?
I wouldn't really say that. Really, I thought we scored and we battered them. I thought. I mean, I think maybe it's been a bit of a trait of
Start first half now we were brilliant.
we were all over them. I think maybe it's been a little bit of a trait of our season as a whole that maybe we've had periods, lengthy periods when we've been on top in games, but we've failed. We've not really created a great deal of like proper like gilt-edged openings, and hopefully that's something that'll kind of continue as we develop as a side under Jed and he gets more players he wants in. But yeah, with a lot of dominance, really, I thought Wrexham their away form's not been very good, and they
Yep.
were distinctly unimpressive. I thought they were lumping it long. Palmer wasn't having a great deal of success. Mullen was making a few good bits of movement, but wasn't finding much room. Elliot Lee was having to drop deeper and deeper.
Yep.
You know, we were doing everything right, and then yeah, a hopeful ball over the top, and obviously Jacob's gone to play it back to Archie Mayer, and look, and then
Sliced it horribly,
yeah,
didn't he?
sliced it, and these things happen. You know, better players than Jacob have made bigger mistakes, and Jacob's probably one of the best left-footed centre backs in this division. But these things happen, don't they? And Mullen's got in behind, squared it to McLean, and yeah, from there,
Good finish. Very good
yeah, good
finish.
finish, yeah, and from there, I think the momentum's just kind of swung, and
We seemed to be half asleep for the next from then till half time, didn't we?
yeah, we they were all over us really for the next kind of 15 minutes, and when we got into half time at 1-1, I ended up being quite happy that we managed to hold out and keep it at 1-1. But I kind of gone into half time thinking it's a shame we lost that good start, but we've held out this kind of wave of momentum that's come, which let's be this is always going to come if they got a goal like that. And let's go again in the second half. But obviously, it's frustrating what's happened about the second yellow. I mean, I think it's the first yellow that I've got more of an issue with. There've been several kind of
It's never a
similar,
yellow. Never.
yeah, there've been several kind of similar niggly fouls that Wrexham had committed. And
Well, I've watched it again. There were 6 fouls, and those 6 fouls, at least 2 of them were the same person twice, and twice they were beaten by Joe Adams and beaten by Kumbeni, and they were beaten and they legged them after they'd gone past them. And that's a professional foul. Yes, it wasn't a goal stopping opportunity, but it's a yellow card. And he didn't even speak to him. And I said on the terraces, after 25 minutes, he's letting him get away with murder. First time we do something, he'll book us because what he's using is the totting up. Well, the next person I'm going to book to put a stop to it. And that was our first. And it wasn't even a bad foul. Palmer went down like he was shot.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Melbourne, he's been a bit naughty trying to force him into touch a little bit, but it's not.
Yeah.
Look, it's a 1-2 on the halfway line, and we've got a full back four sit back. You know, look, it's a foul. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, but I don't think
a pretty genuine
given what had
foul.
gone before.
If he was dishing them out to everybody, then yeah, fair enough. But
Yeah,
but he
exactly.
wasn't, and rightly so. To be honest, I don't like to see referee dishing out cards too freely. But
No, me neither.
but to give Melbourne a yellow card over that was, yeah, just daft. It was like if you're totting up, you should tot up for one player or one team,
Exactly.
not across both teams. And I went and I checked through the stats as well. It's Melbourne's first foul. There's no
Yeah.
reason. There's no real good reason he should have gotten a card for the first one. The second one, it could have gone either way. The card, I think. I don't think it was a stonewall yellow. But on the flip side, I do think it's not dissimilar to. I think we talked about it last week. It's a slightly different foul, but the one that Crawley got away with, Adams has spun their number 30 right down the flank. He's gotten in behind him, and I think maybe the ref bottled the yellow card because he felt it was a bit harsh. For it to lead to a red card. Obviously, the ref hasn't done that on this occasion. He's just followed through, and look, Max has kind of let Palmer in behind him. He's clipped him. It's not a stone. If he's running down the middle, then yes, it's Stonewall yellow card.
Yeah.
It's out wide, but he's kind of running towards the box. So I can kind of see why he's given the yellow card there, but and you kind of to an extent have to take that on the chin, but it's the first one I've got.
Yeah, exactly. It was. So 49th minute, it's 1-1. We're down to 10 men, and some of the Wrexham fans have been coming on saying we battered you after that, and I'm like, well, hang on, we had 10 men, and everything the ref referee did from then on was it was a farce. It was an absolute farce. There was some hilarious decisions where that number 32 managed to. He was trying to wear Jordan Slew's shirt in the first half, but the second half he upped it. He upped it and went worse and worse and worse. And every time Slew touched it, he had a handful of shirt. And it took him till the 96th minute to book him for it. And it was about his 5th foul. And 3 of them he never gave, but he did give the final 2 when it was far, far too late. And I just think, well, I don't have an issue with it. And a Wrexham fan said it didn't affect any of the goals he's reffing. And he's right, it didn't. I think we both agreed Tondon shouldn't have had his arm up there. And we'd have expected that to be a penalty.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'd be screaming for that.
Yeah, exactly. So look at it in plain terms. We've given him the first, good finish. The penalty's right, because we'd be screaming for it. I accept that. And the third one was a good header by Fletcher from a corner, good set piece. He came in late and a powerful header. I've no complaints about the goals. And so the Wrexham fans say, well, we'd have beaten you 3-1. Well, not necessarily, because the simple fact is that they literally were allowed to get away with bloody. You got the impression that if either of their centre halves got a machete out and chopped somebody's head off, it's a bit like the Tory party now. Hester. Well, he's said things about Dan Abbott, but he's not racist. You're like, shut up, you idiots. Of course he is. And the referee's exactly the blooming same. Every time we did, literally, there was one where 32 had hold of Jordan's shirt and pulled it back so it was like that. And he let play go on. And so Cumbenny, I think it was Cumbenny, did it to their bloke, and he gave it straight away about 10 seconds after their 32 had done it to Jordan Slew. And he gave them a free kick in the centre circle for exactly that. And it was like the ground went mental, because it was like, you've just seen him do it, not given it. And then you've seen we do it back, and you've given it. And that's how it's. There was no consistency in any decisions. And the very same 32 was the one who Jordan got round him and forced him to put it out for a corner, and he gave a goal kick when he absolutely clattered it into the stands, very obviously. And it was like, from then on, I admit it, my wife was stood with me, and she's never heard me swear as much at football. But strangely, 10 minutes to go, everybody in the Halo terrace was like, we're going to get nothing here. It doesn't matter what. And we started laughing, because it was like, he's not going to give us out. We're not going to get back in this, because he won't allow it. And then the massive push on Charlie Brown and the headlock on Jacob Beddoe from the corner. Oh no, play on. And we were like, well, he's not going to give him. So
yeah, I mean, I think at 3-1 there probably should have been a penalty to us. At the same time, it's a bit of a done deal at 3-1. But what I would say, actually, credit to the team, is that at 2-1 there was a period of time where, again, I've said that Wrexham were pretty unimpressive, and
yeah,
there was a period of time in that second half where it felt like they just kind of took their foot off the gas a bit. They're up. They've got a man extra. They've got the goal up. And it felt
Jacob had that header, didn't he? And the
it's a cracking save, to be fair. But just all the stuff around that, we've gotten in a few times, and we've just couldn't cut through them. I think it was when Davenport came on, and him and Cumbenny were just finding loads and loads of space. They were picking up loose balls from their hoops, basically. They were picking up loose balls and kind of driving forward. And it was almost a bit alarming how much space we had in a few attacks. Obviously, Hurula's had a shot that's gone over.
That was a good effort, actually. He took that first time, didn't he?
And, it was weird. And then obviously you get hit by a sucker punch. I mean, and yeah, you look at Wrexham, and they're 2-1 up against a team with a fraction of the budget and not quite really seeing the deal against 10 men. And I think, oh, well, what are we going to do to seal the game? Let's bring on Stephen Fletcher. And, he's an ex-Premier League player. He's played in League One, played in Championship a lot as well. So he's come on, and, he big lad, good in the air. What he's about, and stuck the header away, and it's going to kill the game. And then just for the last couple of minutes, they've just thrown Jack Marriott for good measure, who was a game away. Just a few years ago, was a game away from going to the Premier League with Derby. So, who knows? It's a bit.
It's a strange one, but like I say, it was, and most of the Wrexham fans were, fairly civil, but there were the few odd idiots who were like, "We battered you," and I'm like, dear God, yes, you did 3-1. You battered us 3-1, but we had 10 men and you had 12. And they were saying, oh, we didn't think the ref was that bad. And quite rightly, he said, we thought he gave you everything in the first half hour. It's because he did, because we didn't foul anybody. But they kept fouling us. And he gave the fouls, but he didn't book anybody. That was the key to the whole thing. He gave what he thought were fouls, but then the second half, he just seemed to get worse and worse and worse with his consistency. It was a foul if we did it. If they did it, it wasn't. And everybody said, quite rightly, they did the dark arts brilliantly. They've got the experience, they've got the money, and that's fair enough. I have no qualm with Wrexham as per se, as a team. I have no qualm. 3-1, I can accept defeat. I was just upset by the lack of consistency from the referee. And that's what. But the good thing was, I got home and I was in a pretty good mood because I got all my anger out of football. So it was quite cathartic. Really. So we moved to Tuesday night, and that was the football version of the Thriller in Manila. It was like if you said we're going to lose 5-3, but we're going to miss more chances than we've ever had, I'd have laughed you out of town. But I mean, 22 shots. And some of them, Jed Garner and Gwaine Edwards could have had that trick. Jed Garner could have had that trick. It was like, dear Lord, it's like we created some chances, but God Almighty, we couldn't defend, Joel.
Yeah, I think I wasn't able to watch the game live, and I've kind of, but I've watched it back now, and it's interesting comparing it to seeing what I saw a lot of people saying about the game, about our defense, like our centre backs not picking up people, etc. But I think you look at the goal scorers. It was two midfielders, Wilding and Charsley, and a wing back before the first four goals. It was Aaron Lewis and the wing back, and yeah, at the end of the day,
that's covered themselves in glory.
yeah, I don't have much of an issue with Stokes and Bordeaux from that, to be honest. I think at the end of the day, it's their job to keep the two. They're the ones marking the two forwards, and obviously the lads got in. One of the forwards has got in at the end of the game and scored. But that's kind of a bit. That's a bit of a different situation. That fifth goal,
that was
it?
Who fell over them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but yeah, it's just we're pushing men forwards. It's I think it's Tutondu.
Oh, hey, listen,
and it is what it is. But I think you look at the game, the goals are conceded, and we're not. You've got to track runners from midfield. It's an effective way of scoring. Obviously, we saw the benefits of it a few years ago when Wildig was with us. But to know what players like Wildig bring, and Charlesley, another one, he's good at running in from midfield and taking some wing backs, a good threat of having wing backs.
He always scores. He scored against us for Mansfield other season. He always scores against us.
Yeah, no, he's a good player, and he makes those runs, runs that in the box. He's good at them. So to kind of be, I'm sure we've probably seen. I'm sure it was caught in the analysis, and we know what Will is all about anyway. So to kind of like not pick up on that and not track those runners at the box is quite frustrating, really, because that's what's done for us, to be honest. And I think maybe there's a broader tactical reason. Maybe we were the press wasn't quite right further up the pitch, and then people getting dragged out of position, and then they're trying to make up ground when they track the runners in the box. It's hard to say, but yeah, just the fact that runners from midfield were allowed to get into the box so freely, I can't really put that on the centre backs. But on the flip side, like you say, there was some really sensational attacking play, particularly in the second half, and when we kind of shook off the fact that we'd gone 3-1 down, and we kind of got into the swing of things again. We turned momentum towards us a bit, Gwaine Edwards, he was absolutely fantastic again. It's great to see a player with that kind of level of quality playing for this. I've got to say, I thought Joe Adams at times did some pretty scintillating stuff.
Yeah,
he's getting more and more confident every game with how he beats people. I thought maybe he's a little bit quieter against Wrexham, but he was absolutely back at it on Tuesday. The way he was gliding past a few people sometimes is so impressive. I thought Hawula's made it another really good
bit of a difference, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think you can tell he's in front of goal. He's a bit rusty, and he's not quite got his groove and his confidence and his mojo back. For being really sharp to take those chances in front of goal. But his movement and just getting into those areas, and obviously when you get into those areas, you make people panic. People are going to sprint across to try and cover you, and then
Yeah.
and it's going to open up gaps elsewhere and cause a bit of a ruckus.
And it did because
Yeah,
obviously Guillaume scored from his with his header from that very scene, didn't he? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a Willer's saved shot that was saved, uh, and then obviously the one that Guillaume missed afterwards. You know, it's come at him a bit of a it's bobbled. It's come at him a bit quickly, but like that's
and he was
Hawula.
turning as well, wasn't he? He was
Yeah,
just
he's turned a bit funny, and yeah, sometimes they catch you at the wrong angle. But again, it's Hawula making the run
yeah.
and getting those areas, and fair play to him. You know, he he's got you know he's come in, and yeah, he's not scored yet, but he's making an impact when he comes on, and you got to tip your hat to him and say fair play, because it's helping us in these last stages of games. You know, when we've had these comebacks against Crew, we've had not quite a full comeback against Newport, but it definitely made a difference. And we came close as well. So yeah, there were definitely positives.
I think, and I'm just being honest here in the fact that I think probably on the night a draw was about right, but 5-3 definitely flattered him. But as you already touched on, the fifth goal, I'd rather be pushing for it and be left open. But it was just unfortunate. Jan sort of lost he just slipped.
I think
In
it,
the
yeah, I think
centre,
yeah,
left him
yeah,
2-0, didn't it? You
yeah,
know?
it's too Tonda there for that one, and yeah, it happens. It slips, and like you say, end of the day, like I agree. I'd rather be pushing forward, and
Yeah.
if we lose by 2 goals instead of one, it doesn't really matter. Points on the board are the thing. I know obviously goal difference can play a bit of a factor sometimes, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think what matters more than most is points on the boards, and yeah, that's what we got to go for. We went for it, didn't happen. We conceded another goal, still would have lost the game, so I'm
So
not bothered.
two things before we actually close on the Newport. First of all, and Mark Swindlehurst has pointed this out on Facebook, and I thought it's a fair point. It hadn't really occurred to me. Aaron Wilding scored twice against us, didn't celebrate either as a former player because he had 6 seasons with us. Paul Mullin had 5 seasons with us. Ran to the away end when he scored his penalties if he'd won the World Cup.
Yeah,
As Smith said,
I
you
saw
can't buy class.
I saw this post. I didn't actually entirely agree with it, to be honest. I thought, end of the day, look, apparently Mullen's spoken quite positively about us in his book he's written,
Yeah,
which I
yes, yeah,
think kind of says a bit more. I don't think he celebrated that much when he scored. He did the A sign he does obviously when he scores. Went to the away
yeah.
end, and
I thought it's a fair point. I just thought I liked the fact that Aaron Wilding didn't.
yeah, no, I think, and at the end there, I don't think Mullen and Wilding are players you can really put in the same bracket, and that's credit to Wilding, to be frank. I like Paul Mullen. I thought he was a really good player for us, but he spent 3 seasons with us, and left 7 years ago. I
Yeah.
don't really expect a player to hold a great, unless something really special happened in that spell. I don't really expect a player
Well,
to
yeah, but
necessarily hold that much. Yeah, I'm
you
not.
got to remember though.
Yeah,
You got to remember
if
though.
he's
It was
coming and
his.
celebrating in front of our fans and being like,
It was.
"Yeah,
It
get
was
in there!"
his
Like,
choice to leave. We offered him another contract, and he
yeah,
thought he was going to Swindon for a better contract, which I don't blame him for.
well, yeah,
But you've got to remember that,
well,
that
yeah,
Jim Bentley was picked him up from Huddersfield reserves when he was let go.
oh yeah, and again, I'm pretty sure in his book he tips his hat to Jim Bentley, he tips his hat to us as a club, and says, it was his breakthrough, but I can't really blame him for, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
he's left us during the 16-17 season when we were not paying players at points, and he
No,
wants to
no, no. I
further
don't
his
blame him for
career,
that.
and I can't really hold much of a grudge against somebody who's left 7 years ago and was here for 3 years. And look, if he was kind of like knee sliding in front of the home end, then yeah, I'd be a bit like,
But
excuse me,
the,
mate.
the,
But
the other one that the other one that teased me about Mullen.
He's not in the same league as Wilding, really. Like Wilding's a legend at the club, let's be frank.
Yeah, yeah.
Wilding's 7 years here, uh, promotion winner, only left a couple of years ago, was massively loved by all the fans, and yeah. So
The only thing I'll
I
say
don't
about
think it's that
Mullers, and
controversial.
I'm not bad mouthing Mullers because when I know I witter on about it, but obviously every season that he played for us, I was lucky enough to be doing the commentary, and bless his heart, we'd be 3-0 down and he'd be running his bollocks off still.
Yeah, he
He
gave
gave it
yeah
all, and that what tickled me about him was, and I actually did speak briefly to him after the Cambridge game when they beat us 5-1 at our place, when he claimed that goal that he chipped in and it hit the post and it Kyle Leathern on the back and then went in. That wasn't Kyle Leathern, it was
Jake Taylor.
Jake Taylor, yeah. And
No, not Jake Taylor. Sorry, that's so Jake
no,
Turner.
that was the season after. Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't Kyle Leathern anyway.
No, it's Jake Turner. Yeah,
it was Jake. So it hit the bar and bounced, and hit Jake Taylor and went in, and I'm like, you can't have that. And he was like, no, I'm having it. And I was like, yeah, fair play, all right.
yeah. No,
So he's fair play. He's all right. But anyway, so yeah, bit of class from Aaron Wilding. I like that. But there you go. So just before we move on, we've got Salford on Sunday because Salford are playing. Is it tonight?
Yeah, playing tonight. Kicked off just now, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they will have actually.
Yeah. Great decision from Gary Neville to get his mates at Sky to shift the game back and then have it. And then obviously, it's quite annoying because I don't want the game shifted back to the Sunday, but I do feel somewhat outside the karma going back to hit Gary Neville that it's now clashing with Liverpool versus United on the in the FA Cup quarter final.
Yeah, good.
So that's some level of satisfaction.
It just kicked off. It's 0-0. Come on, Stockport. Anyway, no. So yeah, we've got Salford on Sunday. But before I do that, I just want a little bit. It's not self-indulgence. It's just Friday the 19th of April, which is the night before our last home game of the season versus Forest Green Rovers. For those of a certain age, it's the 50th anniversary of the FA Trophy win in 1974, 28th of April 1974. Beat Dartford 2-1 in front of 19,000 at the Old Wembley. There were 12 people involved that day. I think there's 8 or 9 of the players actually coming up for a celebration dinner. It's at the Mazima Stadium in the local choice suite. 2-course dinner, guest speaker, film of the day, and we will be conducting interviews with all the players, including Dave Roberts, who was player manager, Keith Galley, Steve Dole, Barry Kershaw, John Pearson, John Coates, Bob Bennett. Who else? Well, there's everybody who's surviving that. Obviously, there's Jimmy Sutton. There's still people that obviously, unfortunately, Bob Baldwin, Tony Webber, and Mally Richmond have all passed away. And Mally Richmond scored the first goal, which is sad. But we will be celebrating that, and I just want to push that for anybody of a certain age. I've put a thread up on Shrimp's Voices to give us your memories of how you got there, because there was about 15 corporation buses went, 2 trains, specials went, and people have magic memories of how they got there. Well, I know one of the corporation buses broke down on the M6 and they were frightened and they didn't get home till like 5 o'clock Sunday morning, etc. Everybody's got a story about that day. So if you go on Shrimp's Voices, you can actually put your story on there, because we will be putting some of them up on the walls during the night. And secondly, obviously, just, I was down at the club today. Tickets are selling, but I'd like to give it a push, because obviously we've got a little, it's about 5 weeks. But it would be lovely to see that room full to pay homage to the team of 74 who really put us on the map. As a 12-year-old, I went down. I went on the second special train, and it still lives strong in my memory. It was one of the most fantastic days, and obviously we've had 2 more fantastic days at the new Wembley since then, and they all add up to, as we know, the 3rd best record at Wembley ever, behind Barcelona and Woking. So I just thought I'd give that a shameless plug. Tickets are available. You can go online and get them, or you can go to the club shop and they will sell you them there. But it'd be lovely to see everybody there.
Sorry, I don't think that's self-indulgent at all. It's the 50th anniversary of our first ever Wembley win, and like you say, put the club on the map. It's not self-indulgent. How many times have Woking won at Wembley?
I think they won 4.
Oh, how many times have Barcelona won at Wembley? Come on.
I think they've won 4 or 5. I think they've never lost at Wembley. So
yeah, I'm trying to think.
But we've never lost at Wembley, but we are 3rd, so we get the bronze. So it's not too bad.
I'll take that against 2 mighty clubs like Barcelona and Woking.
Well, yeah, and Woking was always the Jeff Chappell era, as you know, and Jeff Chappell still is a Woking legend. So
they got a cool kit, to be fair, Woking.
Yeah, red and white halves and black
shirts.
It's like kiddies. Kiddiman's the same kit. Lovely.
Yeah,
and they've always played in that. And I always remember when we first got in the conference, our first season in the conference in '95, and we went down to Woking, and Woking had a massive stand. They were still there behind one goal, and then sort of like two little sort of like sheds down the side, an open side like we had, and then a shed behind the goal. And the shed behind the goal, there was no segregation. And we turned up, we took about 150 of us to walk in, and there was banter flying between all the between the home and away fans. And the Woking lads, we'd been talking to them in their bar. We were welcomed in their bar beforehand, and there was loads of banter flying around. And they started singing "My House Is Worth More Than Your Street," which I thought was quite, even in 1995, was probably true. And then one bloke, it was a bit of a silence just before half time, and in a Cockney accent, he went, "Yeah, Morecambe, do you have shops?" Which everybody burst out laughing at, even the home fans. And now here we are in 2020. That was 1995. Now we're in 2024. I can answer him. I can no, we don't, because they're all in Lancaster. But yeah, so there you go. That's my little Woking story. But anyway, moving on to Salford. It'll be interesting to see how they do against Stockport tonight, because Stockport and Mansfield, they don't seem to want to win the league, do they?
No, yeah, they're taking it in turns to mess up a little bit. Actually, it seems to be taking it in turns against Mansfield and taking it in turns against Walsall and Tranmere to mess it up. So, but yeah, maybe yeah, that'd be interesting. I'll probably switch over after we finish recording and have a little bit of a watch, because they've got a new manager. I think long run getting somebody in like Carl Robinson is probably going to be quite good for them. He's a very good manager at this level, and you think he should do well. On the flip side, obviously, the plug's being pulled a little bit. Obviously, they're looking for new investors now. I think it sounds like the owners maybe drying up the well slightly, and they're interesting, Salford. Well, in that they've obviously spent a lot of money, but it's not gone anywhere. And it feels like I saw somebody making a point that it feels a little bit like they've become a retirement home for top end League One players who fancy a decent wage, but just coasting to their like early 30s on a decent wage at a level of football that they're very comfortable at. Saying that they've just gone one up, but
there you go.
But it does feel like that. That's a tag they could probably do with shaking, and well, good couple of good few experienced players who've got a bit of high league quality don't go amiss, but you don't want to have too much of a reputation for players to come back and let rest on the levels there. So it'll be interesting to see how they've come on these last few months, because they were pretty unimpressive at the home game. So yeah, be a good one again. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's look at the start of the season. We look at the position we're in with all the players we released, and I know there are a lot of it feels like there's a lot on the line now because we've done so well to get into the playoff picture. But yeah, look, I want to get into the playoffs. I'd love to have another little run at it. It'd be great fun, wouldn't it? And it'd be a massive achievement. But at the same time, I think being where we are in the table is already quite a big achievement. And if it doesn't happen this year, I think we've got a manager in place, and hopefully he can tie a few more players down for next season and keep building the squad that can hopefully probably just be able to challenge maybe a bit more firmly and consistently, and fingers crossed that ties in with the ownership getting sorted.
I think Jed said after the Newport game, he said he told the players we need to win 6 out of 10. So now we need to win 6 out of 9, which is fine. But I mean, it tickles me with I mean, quite rightly, fans are like, "Oh, that's probably the playoff picture over." But if you look at the fixtures, it isn't, because that group of sort of like 7th to 14th, they're all playing each other. So they all can't win. So
they're all it seems like it seems like everybody's taking it in turns, really fancying it, and then deciding actually I'm going to chuck it away now.
Yeah, and that's us.
That's us included. Yeah, that is very much us included.
Yeah. But it's strange, isn't it? But
Walsall, they've gone and had that fantastic, what was it, 5-game winning run, and then lost 2-0 against second, but now third bottom, and fair play to Forest Green. It seems like they're in a good little revival, but they've chucked it.
Yeah, but Steve Cottrell's no idiot, is he? So.
Exactly. Yeah. No. To fact, when they appointed him, I thought fair play. That'll be interesting to see how that one develops. And yeah, they're on the relegation zone. I know Colchester have got a couple of games in hand, but we'll see how that one develops.
It's the points are always better, and again, our first couple of seasons in the conference, Cheltenham were a force to be reckoned with. And Steve Cottrell was the manager then, and they had, I think they probably had at the time they were called in England non-league internationals. They call it England C now, but they had 3 or 4, and it was like there was keeper and fullback Jamie Victory and what have you. And Cottrell knew he was very clever when he was, and he got them up and he got them up again. He's a decent enough manager. I think it's probably Conference League 2 and League 1's his level, but I think he's pretty decent.
Yeah, they did well with Shrewsbury in League 1 for a while as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So looking forward to Sunday. Obviously, they present a different sort of challenge with Big Smith down the middle, who's an handful, and obviously Conor McElhaney, who obviously was a youth at Everton, but came to fruition when Oldham got relegated alongside Davies Keeler-Dunn, because they both got about 1 million goals each, but they conceded 1.5 million, so they got relegated. But that's when Oldham were about as entertaining as us. Every game for Oldham was like 5-3 at Newport, wasn't it? But so it'll be interesting Sunday. There's also centre midfields Elliot Watt, who was an alumni of my old school where I worked, and it was a Scotland schoolboy international while he was with us, and we always picked him as like he was just slightly head and shoulders. We thought he'd go a little bit higher. He got picked up by Preston, and then Wolves signed him, and we thought he'd probably, but he's had a good career. He's probably now 27, 26, something like that. Elliot, and he's a good lad. He's got his head on his shoulders, and if he's Scottish, I'll leave me on earwax. It's his dad who's Scottish, and he's got picked for Scotland, but he sounds like he's from Preston. But fair play. So who scored for Salford?
Luke Garbett.
All right. I thought it'd be Smith or McElhaney. So there you go.
Another good player, to be fair. Also another Everton youth, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. They've got a lot like that. But yeah, fair play. So there you go. It's been a short and sweet. We will have guests on next week. We'll be previewing the ladies' game at the Mazuma, which is going to be on Sunday the 24th. Yeah, 24th. Sunday the 24th.
Yeah, and, quick shout out for that as well. It's free to season ticket holders.
Free to season ticket holders. So it'd be great to see a decent crowd there for the ladies.
Yeah, just a couple of things on Shrimp's Trust things, just to quickly round off as well. Firstly, obviously, Jeff Wilson Memorial Quiz. Thanks to everybody who turned up. I know we didn't have the biggest numbers, but we still got a bit of a turnout. It was a good night, and everybody turned up, enjoyed it. So do appreciate everybody who came down.
Sharp Shrimps again.
Yeah, congratulations to Sharp Shrimps again. I know, yeah, the defense of the trophy. So somebody needs, maybe some more teams need to come down next time and break the trend.
Slap them about a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Come and ruffle a few feathers next time.
So there you go. We'll be, as I said, we'll be previewing the ladies' game next week, but we have got a player lined up, and hopefully we'll also have somebody on from the board. But we shall see. But this has been the abridged version of ShrimpNet. My thanks to Joel. Thanks to myself for bothering to come away from the lounge and not watch Salford Stockport. But that's probably what we're both going to do now. We will be there on Sunday, both Joel and I, which is a bit of a rarity, being an away game together, isn't it? To be honest.
I know, yeah. Happens from time to time. I think it must have been League One last time, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was. It probably was, wasn't it?
Actually, no, Wrexham. I think it was.
Well, it was. Yeah, it was. Oh God, yeah, Wrexham. Yeah, well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'll purge that from my memory.
Yeah, I'd forgotten.
Good day out though, to be fair.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it was actually, and fair play. They were quite welcoming. So yeah, people are desperate to hold it against them because they've invested 20 million, but I can't. I just think, enjoy the ride, go for it. So there you go. This has been ShrimpNet. Thanks for listening. Join us again next week. Goodbye.